Head coach Anthony Jones, entering his 11th season with Alabama A&M University as the head football coach. During Jones' tenure, he has accomplished the SWAC Eastern Division Championship in 5 different seasons. Also includes the 2006 Southwestern Athletic Conference Championship, a number of All-Americans, 5 draft picks, and a number of all-SWAC first teamers and second teamers. Coach Jones, how you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
All right. Coach, we just want to talk to you today about your season. We're less than 30 days out from the players reporting for the 2012 football season. Just how do you feel? Are you excited going into your 11th season on the hill?
Absolutely. We're very excited about this upcoming season. We didn't like the way our season ended last year, and it's kind of motivated us to keep pushing and try to find a way to finish what we've started. There's no guarantees that we'll be 2012 champions, but it's something that we're pushing for, and so we're working hard for it. We know our conference is going to be stacked, and we just feel like we're one of those components. It's going to make for a very interesting and exciting year.
You mentioned that the conference is stacked. Looking at the Eastern Division side, we're the only team returning a starting quarterback and all 11 players on offense. Jackson State was the team to beat last year, and they lost a lot. And Alcorn has a new coach. Mississippi Valley is rebuilding. Alabama State is rebuilding. So, Coach, just how you feel our chances are on the Eastern side?
I mean, we're always going to be excited about our chances. Yes, we do return our entire starting offense, and an important part of that is the starting quarterback, so you don't have to start all over in that regard. Alabama State is very, very similar to us. Yes, they lost some components from their 2011 season, but they're very, very stacked. They return their quarterback, Dominguez, who played a lot, leaves. But they have a starting quarterback coming back. They have most of their defensive personnel coming back, and they have a lot of offensive personnel coming back. Not all like we have, but I expect Alabama State to be very, very competitive. They've gotten a real taste of winning, and under Coach Barlow, and they want to continue. You know, Jackson State will always be, Coach Comagee is going to always find them and coach them up and have them ready to play. And so I expect Jackson State to be very, very competitive. They lose their starting quarterback, player of the year, and deservedly so. But they have some guys in the wings. They have some guys still on the field that can really, really get the job done. And so once again, I expect them to be good. And their defense, they've returned a lot of defensive personnel, and they were very, very strong on the defensive side of the ball. Valley and Alcorn are in their rebuilding years, so what stages, new coach. You know, anytime you have a new coach as an Alcorn, there's new excitement and anticipation. You don't know exactly what to expect from that unit, but Alcorn had a lot of talent last year, and they have a lot of talent returning. It's just a matter of how fast can they gel together and put themselves in situations. So, as I said before, the East is going to be very competitive. We like our chances, but we do every year, and we're going to play the hand that we're dealt. And right now, we got our returning offense coming back. We lose 5 stars on the defensive side, but again, we got some guys in the wings, and we feel excited about it. So we're looking forward to this year.
Speaking of the Eastern Division, let's talk about the Western Division. Western Division opponents that we're facing. A friend of yours in Arkansas, Pine Bluff. You played with him on their Super Bowl team in 1987. Facing Texas Southern University, who is ineligible this year because of their APR, but they have a new coach in Darryl Osbury. Facing Grambling State, who you went 1-1 with, and you currently, I believe, have a 2-9 record during your years here as a Bulldog head football coach. And Southern University, who slipped up on you last year. You want to talk about those Western Division opponents, Coach?
Well, the West, we haven't had the success that we had against the East. The West is, as you mentioned before, Grambling has outnumbered, and we actually won 3 games. I think it's 3-10, something along that line. But when you get a win against Grambling, you don't want to take it away from yourself. But last year was, as I spoke of before, Doug and I, we faced each other in the championship game, and they were able to pull it out with 1-point victory. And the bottom line is they won, so their congratulations are due. Now we got to go back and try to find a way to recap it and match up against them. And they'll be back into the thick of things. They had, I think, 24 seniors last year, so they were a very senior-laden class. So they will be in the process of rebuilding in some areas, and changes on staff and things of that sort. So that'll be a very interesting situation to watch. But I still think, you got the main component in charge there. That's Doug Williams. It's always had success. So they'll find a way to get it done. I don't know if they'll finish first, but they'll find a way to get it done. You talk about Southern. Southern always has talent. Coach Mitchell, his crew came on board, and we went there, and they played an excellent football game. They beat us, and they beat us soundly. And so that's going to be a game that's in the back of our mind, because I think it's a game that we're going to learn from. If we don't bring our best, they're going to beat us. And they were ready to play. I don't know if we were ready to match their intensity. And so they really put it to us. And so good football team. They were well coached that day. They were ready for us. Monty, I know they're kind of sitting in the wings, waiting for us, because they were convincingly beating us last year, and then we staged a comeback and was able to get a 1-point victory out of it. So I'm pretty sure they got that date marked on their calendar, and they're looking for, I don't want to call it payback, but they're going to be ready to play, and they're going to be ready to play us for 60 minutes. So again, very competitive. You look at Texas Southern. I don't know all the things that are going on as far as whether they'll be eligible or ineligible to compete, whatever the case may be. But there's one thing I do know about Texas Southern. Last year we beat them 24-21, something along that line. We got away with a 3-point victory. They always have talent. It's going to be a very, very tough, physical defensive team that's going to be able to run the ball. I don't know what that new coach, his atmosphere, what kind of atmosphere he's going to bring, but they'll be a tough, well-talented football team, and they can beat you up, beat you. And, I don't know what their status will be, but I know one thing: they're going to play you extremely hard. You'll be playing in their new stadium, and so that'll be the excitement of that. So it's going to be an exciting contest. And then last but certainly not least is Prairie View. We were finally able to get off the losing snob on them. They've been beating us 5 or 6 times straight. So we went down to their place last year and played in a very, very competitive football game. Both of us are playing for all the marbles. You win, you're in. And we were able to eke out a very tight ball game, that particular game. So I'm pretty sure they have us marked on their calendar also as a game that they want to come back and win. And so, when you start looking at all the conference teams and the dynamics of that happened last year, you're looking at a very, very competitive schedule for us, very competitive for the conference. And again, I think it lends itself to a very exciting year.
Mentioned the schedule. I want to talk about the schedule, maybe some of the toughest game. Of course, when one look at the schedule, you automatically assume the toughest game is November 17th versus Auburn University. But, playing Auburn, win or lose, well, win, of course, will be major, but win or lose, that wouldn't affect you going to the 2012 SWAC championship. So just talk about your 2012 schedule, Coach, as a whole.
Well, we open up with a non-conference game and we close with a non-conference game. We have 9 conference games tied in there. We've already spoke about the conference schedule. But you know, we opened up against Tuskegee on the road. We were able to play. We played them last year. We were able to beat them last year, and you know, they are a very proud football team institution, and they're going to get us away from Lewis Crew Stadium down in Birmingham, and they're going to try to right that wrong from last year. We'll be excited about that. Again, it's a non-conference game, but it carries a lot of implications as far as bragging rights for the state. You know, their Division II program with Division One or championship subdivision. So, you know, they're going to be looking to beat us and hand it to us, and with their tradition that they've had over the years, we better be ready to play. And then we jump into a conference play immediately after that game, and we run our conference gamut, if you will, and then we go on the road. Our last non-conference game and our final game of the season will be at Auburn University. Now, understand now, 2 years ago, this team was national champions.
That's right.
Not just SEC champions, national champions, and deserving so. They had the #1 draft choice in all of college football, Heisman Trophy winner. You know, the list goes on and on and on. We get to play them at their place. I'm pretty sure there'll be close to 100,000 people there. And if we're lucky, we'll have 3,000 of them there that want A&M to be successful. So this is going to be a very, very tough ball game for us. It's going to be a different type of a ball game for us. It'll be the first time that we've ever played a school of that caliber. We're excited about it. Our fans are excited about it. We're hoping that it will lend itself to more opportunities down the road to play other football bowl teams, if you will. And but again, we're excited about it, and it's going to be a tough ball game. But unless we get guys beat up during that game, it should have no effect on us. By that time, we will know what our SWAC championship status is, whether we're going or not. So this game here will have no effect on that.
This season you're going to see the Bulldogs play in some pretty big stadiums. First game versus Tuskegee, you're going to be in Legion Field. A few weeks later, you're going to be at Texas Southern in their brand spanking new Dynamo Stadium, and we're going to be their first opponent in that brand new stadium. And then we go back to Legion Field for the 71st annual Magic City Classic. Then off to Auburn University, to Jordan Hare. So is the stadiums, Coach, you know, we got these 4 major stadiums that are going to be played in that hold at least 65,000 or more. Do you think that's going to affect the guys' mentalities, or where's your thinking on that situation?
Well, don't forget Jackson now.
Oh,
we play
Jackson Memorial Stadium.
Place, Memorial Stadium. That holds about 65,000.
Yes, sir.
And they'll probably have about 40 of them there for that particular game. So that'll be another major challenge for us as far as venues are concerned. We've been pretty successful in the Magic City Classic. So our guys kind of get pumped up for these major stadium games, if you will. We played up at Tennessee State University and played in that big stadium, and we've had success up there. The difference is the Magic City Classic is going to be the only game where we have, quote, at least half the fans cheering for us. All those other games you just mentioned will be the underdog as far as the crowd participation is concerned.
Right. That's right.
And so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to try to find a way to neutralize the crowd. The only way you can neutralize the crowd is try to find a way to be ahead of this team and win. It's very difficult for your crowd to be involved when the team is not doing well. So we have a team that has some veterans on it, and we'll be relying on those veterans to lead the way, and hopefully we'll have some success in those venues.
To mention the veterans, Coach, my next question, let's talk about some of these veterans. I know we can talk about Deontay Mason, your starting quarterback for the last 3.5 years going into this season. But we have to mention Kadarius Lacey. Kadarius is only 1,000 yards from breaking the career rushing record that Ulysses Banks set between 2006 and 2009. Last year, he broke the season record set by Ulysses Banks of over 1,200 plus yards. So, Coach, let's just talk about some of these veterans on your team that has really made the Bulldog football team as successful as it's been.
Well, I mean, this veteran group we have now, this year we have about 24 seniors coming up in our program. First time we've had this number of seniors in quite a while. And more importantly, these guys are going to graduate, and they're players. They're guys that you can rely on the football field. You mentioned you started off with Deontay. I mean, he's our quarterback. He's led our team in the last 3 years to 2 championship games. We've lost 2 championship games by a total of 7 points. So hopefully this will be his breakout year. Kadarius Lacey, running back. He'll also be flanked by LaFonce Baden. Both of those guys are exceptional ball carriers. Kadarius has done it over time. He's a big physical runner. His style of running is very, very different than that of Ulysses Banks. And I know for us to have the type of year that we anticipate having, or we would like to have, he's going to have to be 1,000+ yard rusher. And so that works into the framework of him possibly setting a record if we want to have this kind of success. Okay. Then you go to the offensive line. You're led by Joe Quincy Eugene, who's our center, who's been our starting center for the past 3 years. He didn't make all conference honors last year, but in my opinion he should have. But of course, I'm just like every other coach out there.
Of course.
Then you look at we got Brian Ross, who played well for us last year. His first time started at the offensive line, and of course on left tackle, Jamal Johnson-Ware. Big, physical, athletic offensive line that's going to get a lot of that's going to garner a lot of attention from the NFL. He's an excellent talent. We got some people on the offensive side that should help us. You got David Isabel, who played backup quarterback and also was an athlete. Again, we expect him to contribute. Then you go to our tight end spot. We got 3 senior tight ends: Bobby Goldsby, Kenny Harris, and Jared Bing. All 3 of those guys are playing tight end. They each bring something a little different to the table. If I can get these guys to kind of be like the 4 tight ends that we had at Washington in our heyday, then where they each bring something different to the table, but bring something to the table. We can get that out of them this year. That's going to make us a very special football team. You got Gialonzo Milton, who's a receiver, who's kind of leading that core, if you will, of receivers, a very talented group, but he'll be the senior in that group, and so he'll be over there kind of leading the way for that group. We look for him for leadership and also big play capability. So we have some weapons on the offensive side that we're going to be looking to kind of lead us into this upcoming season. Jump over to the defensive side. Got to start with the defensive line, led by Tim Tillman, who had a big year for us last year. We can keep him healthy. He'll lead that young / veteran defensive line. Preston Nelson, expecting a big year out of him. Melvin Payne. Those guys are seniors. Darren Lett, who's been injured the last couple of years. We're going to look for him to have a big year. Put some pressure on the quarterback. We'll have some schemes that will kind of help us in that regard, if you will. Go to the linebackers. Denzel Cotton, who's been leading us in that position. We expect him to step up and be a big player for us next year. because he's going to have to lead a bunch of young guys in that regard as far as the linebacker corps is concerned. Then you go to Vernon Marshall, who's the outside linebacker. Very, very smart kid. He's been a 4-year starter for us. He's going to have to lead the secondary. We're going to have a lot of young guys in the secondary. But him and Joshua Uday came on strong last year, and Julius Williams, we expect those guys to come in and make some plays and be big contributors into that secondary. And then, you know, a lot of people tend to overlook this area of the game. We don't. The special teams. Every time you go out on the field, it's either going to be points or field position. And we're led by Chance Wilson, who was all conference, who's been working extremely hard. He handles all our kicking responsibilities. And his partner in crime, if you will, is going to be our long snapper. A lot of people don't give him a lot of credit, but without Jordan, we'd be in a lot of problems. We'd have a lot of problems. This kid is very, very reliable long snapper on PAT field goals and also our punting unit. So all those are some of the seniors that we have coming back that we know have made some contributions to us, and it's a lot of seniors, and we're looking for those seniors to make a stand this year as this being their final year. Who knows where it's going to lead us, okay? But I do believe if those guys stand up, we get a little luck involved with injuries and things of that sort, we'll have a chance to have an exciting year.
And Coach, before we end our interview here, we got to talk about academic progress rate. One thing that a lot of people aren't aware of, because a lot of times in sports and athletics you always look at wins and losses, is the academic progress rate. Alabama A&M football team has led the conference and has ranked in the top 3 schools in the state of Alabama in APR rate for the last 2 years. Coach, you've been publicly recognized by the NCAA twice for leading the conference. How do you maintain your football team with the high GPAs while so many other football teams, not only in the conference but in the football championship subdivision, the bowl subdivision, and the state of Alabama and all over America, are struggling to try to even maintain high GPAs?
Well, I think there's a couple of things involved with that. One, you got to have a mission, and you got to be willing to stick with that. And, we have a mission, and it's not just a football coach. It's me, my staff, our academic enhancement center, which is led by Mr. Sims and Ms. Lomas. They do an outstanding job keeping our kids heading in the right direction towards graduation. There's also our staff and faculty. Everybody has to be involved in this retention process, if you will. If you have one entity that's not involved in it, that's an opportunity for your kids to fail. We understand it, we get it, and we work for it every single day. We talk to our kids about the academic progress. We talk to our kids about using their tutors. We talk to them about making sure they go to class and how they conduct themselves in class. And when your kids see that it's important to you, it has to be important to them. We've been fortunate to recruit the proper kids who and their parents understand the importance of their education. Football is a small window. We all know that. It's a small window of an opportunity for them to get something out of life. But it's not the only window. They got to use this window as much as they can, get their education, and then get ready to move on to the next phase of their lives. Some of them, fortunately, will have opportunities to play into the NFL. Unfortunately, most of them will not. And that's a lesson that I preach to them over and over and over and over again, and understand the importance of their education. A lot of our guys are getting it. We've also been successful on the field too, so you can do both. You just got to be willing to do both, and at this stage we're willing to do both. We're working hard to keep our kids academically sound, and we have a team of people that understands the importance of that message, and so it's something that we practice every day. You just can't practice it towards the end of the semester or the beginning of the semester. It's something that you have to practice throughout the year.
Thank you, Coach Jones, for taking time out for the Bulldog Nation, talk about the season, and we look forward to seeing you in 30 more days when the players report.
Absolutely. Thank you.